I cannot believe everything that has happened in your life since the last time you came on and we talked about your coverage of Antifa, how you'd been attacked. You've now sued. You won one, you lost a couple with defendants, but you won as well. And now something very similar is unfolding before our very eyes with these pro-Palestinian protests, which are tending more and more to include violence. We just saw the death of this Jewish man today. Paul Kessler, yesterday it happened. I know you've been over in London where things are getting very serious. I mean, even more so than we've seen necessarily other than Paul Kessler here with the protests. So talk to me about what you've seen over in the UK as you've been covering the aftermath of October 7th.
So most people are familiar with my work on the Antifa reporting that I've done over the years. But before that, one of the beats that I used to write about a lot, and it also made me unpopular, was about Islamic extremism, immigration, separatist communities. And that skill set I've been able to bring out as I've returned back to field reporting, doing on-the-ground video coverage. In the UK, we've seen, since the 7th of October, there have been every weekend and sometimes during the weekday, very large, ostensibly pro-Palestine rallies. But within these, there are pockets and elements of violent extremism that to the average person, they might miss because the chants may be in Arabic, they may be in another language. And because I have some background in this area of extremism, as a previous reporter on this beat, I've been able to capture some of that video footage, such as those who have been very explicit in calling for jihad, chants in Arabic about Muhammad's army returning to slaughter the Jews. And all this is building up to politicians here are quite concerned because this upcoming weekend in the UK is Remembrance Weekend. In the US, it's the same day as Veterans Day. It's a very big holiday, solemn day here. And it coincides on Saturday, the 11th of November, with another Palestine demonstration being called the Million Man March. Now, I think your audience is familiar with what's been happening in the US, where you see university student radicals, academics and others going out and being not just pro-Palestine, but often quite explicitly pro-Hamas and pro-Hamas terrorism. In the UK, you have that as well, but there's an element of religious extremism to it, given the demographic differences between the US and Europe, that is manifesting. And it's manifesting in dangerous ways and can be potentially be very explosive, given that there's a longer history of Islamic terrorism happening here. I mean, just in the days after the 7th of October, there was a deadly terrorist attack in the UK that most people didn't even hear about here or in the US. There was a deadly stabbing attack in the north of England. And authorities have been very tight-lipped about it, just saying that it was by a Moroccan, the suspect is a Moroccan refugee. So there's already been deadly violence here in relation to the Israel and Hamas conflict.
What similarities, if any, do you see between Antifa and these groups showing up at the pro-Palestinian protests?
The huge demonstrations that have been happening in the US and the UK have brought out a wide coalition of, in a way, you can view them sort of as strange bedfellows. I mean, what do Muslim immigrants, Islamists, Muslim extremists, and radical white leftists have in common? On the surface, you wouldn't think they have things in common, but they do share often the same targets, the same political enemies, that being America and America's friends and allies. I think the Antifa element in the US, or the radical left, I should broaden it a little bit. We have now a generation and a half of university students who have been, in my view, brainwashed into leftist militancy. and they have no moral compass, and they have no moral foundation for anything, and they're easy because they've been radicalized. It's very easy for them to be directed into the cause of the day, and within that, you have a context of decades now of Palestinian nationalist propaganda in the West being extremely effective, not only in the media, but also through the academy. And it's merging and incorporating with various critical race theories and decolonization theories. And this is the cause that has been able to bring people out that in ways we haven't seen since 2020 George Floyd inspired riots. And in fact, it's often the same people who were involved then who are now taking to the streets with the goal to destabilize America, to pressure our politicians to turn our backs on our friends and allies internationally. And it's a scary time because I think, I'm speaking to you a day after a Jewish man was killed in a homicide related to a Palestine protest in Southern California. So, these are not just peaceful protests that are happening. You have extremist rhetoric. You have people calling for terrorism. You have people praising terrorism. You have coalitions of people that is being built who have already shown themselves to be extremely radical and supportive of the use of terrorism as a tactic.
Well, that's the thing. It's not like this thing broke out 2 months ago before October 7th, and we're just right back in the middle of the Israel-Palestinian conflict that we've been arguing over for decades. They're out there chanting death to Israel and to wipe Israel off the face of the map. Effectively, that's what from the river to the sea means. Right after this civilian torture and mass murder happened of the Israelis. So why wouldn't you be afraid? Why wouldn't you look at this group and say, what exactly is it they support? And am I safe? Especially if you're a Jewish person. You got some of this on tape. You've been, as I mentioned, but you've been great about the reason you got attacked by Antifa was because you kind of embed yourselves within the groups and then you document what they do. And that made you a target. And they did get you, but you survived, thank God, and wound up bringing them to court, which is absolutely the way to handle it. So here you are now out in Trafalgar Square, London, documenting some of what's happening there. This is SOT 33.
Israel is a terrorist state. Terrorist state. Terrorist state. Occupation no more. Israel is a terrorist state.
And here's a little bit more in SOT 34 as we listen to chants of Allahu Akbar, which we keep hearing over and over. Same chant they yelled before they took the Twin Towers down and crashed into the Pentagon in those planes in 9/11. So there's been, I think there was just this past Saturday, tens of thousands of protesters showing up at one of these on the streets of London, and 29, this is from your article at Human Events, 29 pro-Palestinian rioters were arrested, charges like assaulting police, inciting racial hatred, other racially motivated crimes. When you walk amongst the crowds, Andy, what kind of people are these? Are these professionals? Are they all young college student types? Are these people who clearly have never been to college? What kind of demographics are you seeing?
Primarily young people. The majority of them are those of Muslim heritage. Some are practicing, some are not. And then there are white leftists who are there too in a smaller amount. And I'm really glad that you played the video of the Allahu Akbar chants, because that has been one of the rallying cries. And it's, I don't think I can overstate how provocative of a chant it is, because on the surface, Allahu Akbar is something that is chanted during the daily prayers for Muslims. But these people are not doing it with during the prayer for the day on on the carpet, on a rug.
Yeah.
They're doing it in the context of as a political statement, echoing and mirroring the chants of what Hamas did as they were carrying out atrocities on video and slaughtering people and defiling the bodies.
Thanksgiving is 2 weeks away, which means the best Genucel sale of the year, just in time for the holidays. The Genucel Most Popular Package is back for you to look stunning at your Thanksgiving gatherings. And now, get the brand new Genucel 3 also included in the Most Popular Package. Sunny from Rockford, Illinois said, "I'll give Genucel 5 stars because the products do exactly what they've promised. It's working. I love all the products and I highly recommend it." Take advantage of the Genucel best sale of the year and say goodbye to fine lines, crow's feet, bags, and puffiness, laugh lines, and dark spots. The Genucel experience is like no other. Look and feel your absolute best or your money back, no questions asked. Go to Genucel.com/MK60 for an incredible holiday discount. Better than 70% off on Genucel's Most Popular Package with the Genucel 3 product and Dark Spot Corrector. And for results in 12 hours or less, the Immediate Effects product is included in this package for free. Go to Genucel.com/MK60 for a free upgrade to priority shipping at checkout. GENUCEL.com/MK60. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.